Today on the Create podcast, I'm joined by Jarvis Clemens, better known as DJ Goodbar, a Calgary-based DJ who has spent years building a reputation as one of Alberta's most versatile selectors and crowd readers. If you've ever been to an ABF festival, you know DJ Goodbar. What began with the love for the underground rave scene has evolved into a career built on creating unforgettable experiences through music. Whether he's playing a packed festival, a nightclub, or a private celebration, Jarvis has a unique ability to read the room, blend genres seamlessly, and create moments that bring people together. In our conversation, we explore the mindset behind building a creative career in a competitive industry, the importance of consistency, community, and why the best creators are always learning while staying true to what first inspired them. If you've ever wondered what it takes to turn a passion into a profession, you're going to enjoy this conversation with Jarvis, A.K.A. DJ Goodbar. All right, Jarvis. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. You?
Yeah, great. So we've known each other. It's funny because as I was reading your notes, I'm like, holy shit, it's been a long time now.
I think it's 10 plus years for sure. I think it's got to be probably 11.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know each other very well when I started working with Kondrat.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know who you were when you came up to told me to stop playing music the first year. So, yeah.
And then by the second year, you're like, I only stop the music when Mark tells me to stop the music, which I don't know where you got that from. But I'm just like, by the way, if security tells you to stop, you should probably stop. Yeah. That was awesome.
That might have been my younger days, just trying to get another song or two in, but yeah.
So DJ Goodbar is kind of the handle you go by. Where did that come from?
It's actually a pretty interesting story. When I started DJing, I got my first gig, and I did not have a DJ name. Okay. And I wasn't sure whether or not to go by just my name, Jarvis, or to figure out a DJ name. So on my way on my commute to my office downtown when I worked in oil and gas, I went past a place called Mr. Goodbar Securities. And it was in Inglewood, right? And I was like, oh, this good bar, like a good bar as a music. And I was like, you know what, whatever. Let's just go by DJ Goodbar. Sounds like an interesting name. We'll just go for it for the first gig or two.
Right.
It was just kind of like a tiny little like a
placeholder almost until
and I just wasn't sure, right? Yeah. And then I got a call from, Dan and Blake.
Yeah.
They said they were opening a brewery.
Right.
In a warehouse, and we were going to throw a huge rave. They were going to strip it completely down. So I was like, yeah, man, that sounds like so much fun, because we knew each other a little bit before they opened the brewery.
Yeah.
And he kind of gives me the pin the day of, and I roll up, and I got goosebumps because it was Mr. Goodbar Securities.
Oh.
So that building they turned into Kondrat.
Wow. That's
so
crazy.
It was so surreal.
Yeah.
So we're doing this rave, and then they pull out the Mr. Goodbar Security sign halfway through my set and stuff like that. So kind of felt like a full circle moment almost. Yeah. So and then ever since then, me and Kondrat, we've been extremely tight. So we were friends before they opened the brewery, and now we try to do a lot of the beer fests together and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a pretty surreal moment for sure, dude. Yeah.
So you guys kind of came up together then. So when you were starting, is that same kind of timeline that they were starting?
Yeah. Very cool. I kind of had my aha moment, the first beer fest we did together.
Yeah.
When he was kind of just play whatever you want, man. Just do what you want. And then it went really well, and everything. It was just everything just kind of clicked. But yes, and that was when they started getting really super crazy and busy and popular. So yeah, we both kind of came up at the same time. It was super nice. Yeah.
So where did your love of music come from? I'm curious, I guess, kind of from an origin story. And we got to go back to this oil and gas, because I did not know that you were in oil and gas. But did you just always have a love for music, or where did kind of that come from? And I guess your thought of becoming a DJ?
Well, I always wanted to play music as a kid, but I don't know if it's my ADHD or what it is, but I was never able to stick to an instrument and that kind of stuff. And then I got kind of into electronic music when I was a kid. So started doing, a lot of the raving and going to these really cool underground parties. This is before text messages, Facebook, where you'd call the phone number at 10 p.m. and they'd be like, yo, this is the location. You just show up at midnight at some warehouse and you'd be there till sunrise. And that kind of gave me the love of kind of the community of the music. And then from there, I've always been a very socially awkward person. So I moved in with a whole bunch of roommates.
Yeah.
We used to throw house parties like every weekend. We had a big house. There's like 5 of us in there. And I used to hate it. But everyone was like, hey, man, like, you want to put on the music?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, man, I love music. So we
Interesting.
got turntables, and I felt safe.
Yeah. You're kind of behind the barrier.
I was in control of the party. I wasn't being controlled
gotcha.
by the party in a weird sense. Yeah, so that's kind of where my love for DJing came. I've always had a love for music and always wanted to play an instrument.
Right.
But I kind of, went towards more of just being a selector. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I like that word, a selector. So describe what being a DJ is, because I think a lot of people think, especially with the rise of technology and Spotify, that anybody can be a DJ. And the problem with someone like, I'll go back to, like you were saying, you in the Coal Garden area at the beer festival, is when someone makes it look easy, people assume that it is easy. So describe kind of what being a DJ means to you in terms of the process.
I mean, for me, I'm an open format DJ, right? So it's a little bit different for, I guess, us open format DJs. I mean, there's a lot of DJs that just stick to their stuff, right? Like they'll only play a certain type or a genre of music, and they'll get booked for that. And that's what they're being booked for. It's don't tell me what to play.
Right.
I'm playing what I'm going to play. You want to book me, you book me, right?
Yeah.
I get hired to play what people want to play without knowing what they want to play.
Right.
So it's kind of a reading the room.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be really almost like stereotypical. Like you almost got to like be like, I know what that guy wants to listen to.
Yeah.
I know what that girl wants to listen to. That older lady over there probably doesn't want to listen to any of that. So can we find something in between that might work for this time, right?
Yeah.
And then it's also about building waves and trying to make sure everyone's happy and not making people mad. But yeah, like things like Beer Fest is crazy because you got all different walks of life and different ages, and like that's another reason why I kind of like weddings too, is because you got newborns to like 100-year-olds, right? And to try to get a party going the whole night and have people from every age range come up to me like, we really enjoyed your music. Like there's nothing better feeling for that, like to please such a diverse group of people. So
do you kind of take that on as a challenge? Because I've been to, I think everybody's been to an event where the DJ is not reading the room and they're just like, no, this is what I do. This is, but for you, like when you are reading the room and like you said, you're kind of going into the stereo, you see the guy in the suit, like and you're like, hey, he's about 40. I think I know what'll kind of get him, kind of break the barriers with him. Do you see that as a challenge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm also one of those guys that I'll always take a request too, right? I might not play it.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes up to me and wants to talk about the music that they want to hear, especially at a wedding, right? Like these people know the other people more than I want to, right? So but yes, the challenge is always, it's always a different gig, for me. Like it doesn't matter where I go when I'm playing open format. It's depends on who's there.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's 5 people or 5,000 people, I'm trying to make everyone have a good time, right? And it can be incredibly difficult. Sometimes it can be incredibly easy, right?
Yeah.
Like Beer Fest, you guys pack the room, everyone's feeling a little loose.
Yeah.
Like it's some gigs are easier than others.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever find, have you ever been in a situation where, like I'll say from podcasting, sometimes the conversations that I think will be easy are sometimes really hard and vice versa. So do you ever walk into a room thinking, okay, this one's going to be easy, and then it's just like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, it's just all falling apart.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that comes in my younger years, I would get that mentality and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is going to be such an easy one, and then you walk into the room and like you said, it'd be like nothing like you expected. So now I've started to kind of do my research, especially if I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So like when we went to Edmonton to do the first Beer Fest and I think I did with SYC, I was like, hey, I'm in Edmonton. I am no longer in Calgary. So let's Western it up a little bit. Let's play a little bit more Nickelback, let's read the room a little bit. It's going to be a little tougher than Calgary, right? Because it's going to be a little slower, it's going to be a little bit more diverse. So you got to kind of put in like the work to think about what that space is going to be like in a different city. And also like when it comes to like weddings and like the couples, how old are they, what ethnicity are they, that kind of stuff. And then you walk into a room where it's going to be a whole bunch of young kids, like a place like Home and Away, where it's going to be mostly kind of younger kids that want to party really hard, so you got to kind of switch the script. So
right.
constantly always thinking about and when you look at my playlists in my crates in my DJ program, like I've got lists of those kind of things just kind of ready.
Yeah.
Like my weapons, right?
Yeah.
Like this will hopefully get a dance party going in this spot, right?
Yeah.
And then you can build off of that, right?
So if I was to book you for a wedding and I requested the chicken dance, would you play that?
Yeah, if you wanted it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Why not, right?
I love that. You talked about in your notes the concept of evolving. So I'm curious, like when you look back to when you started to now, how has does your craft kind of evolve with how you evolve as a person? Like with your experiences and stuff, how do you kind of bring that into what you do?
Yes, that's an interesting question. When I was younger, I wanted to be that main stage, like, Diplo, like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
As I evolved and realized that there was an actual business here, that's it's like a 1 in a million kind of thing. It's like becoming like a sports star, you know what I mean? Like it's tough. It's very doable, but you got to put in a lot of work. Mm-hmm. But the more I tried to do that, the more I got opportunities to do other things that, were monetizing, and like I felt like there was a job here. So instead of kind of pursuing it as a passion, I kind of took it as a job, and now it's kind of turned into both.
Okay,
if that's kind of a thing, what I mean? Like
I think that's quite lucky when you can have both.
For sure. I mean, I think you kind of experienced some of the same things. Totally. I mean, loving your job is a very good thing, but it can be very tough. And yes, some gigs are not as fun as others, Some of these corporate stampede gigs that you're just playing the same country music over and over can get a little drying, but at the end of the day, it is my job sometimes too to do that kind of stuff. But my evolution is more just trying to keep current as well too, because everyone's a DJ now, like you said. Like everyone's got Spotify, everyone can go buy a couple $100 controller, but at the end of the day, if you don't know how to read a room or select the right tracks or make it all about you, it can be hard. But I mean, nowadays a lot of this stuff comes down to like social media and stuff too, which is also tough. But growing, I'm still trying to grow. I think I'm also kind of stuck a few years back where I just doing it.
But I think that whole as long as you're growing then and evolving, I think that's important. You mentioned also too the concept of showing up, which actually talking to musicians is always kind of like seems to be a theme, because there's probably sometimes where you're just like it's is it hard, I guess, to kind of sometimes have that energy, because you're a one-man band in this, right? Like you don't have a group of people behind you if you're feeling kind of shitty one day. So how important is the concept of just like some days just like, hey, I gotta go, showing up?
Sometimes, so sometimes you'll have a day. I mean, sometimes you'll have personal stuff going on in your life. Sometimes you just don't really want to do it. And I mean, it goes for everyone. Sometimes you just got to put on that industry smile, and just get through it. But I mean, I find it rarely happens compared to like a normal job. You do have those off days, or will have like a health problem or some family stuff come up, and it'll take you off your game. And like you said, people think that DJing is such a fun job sometimes.
Right.
You're surrounded by all these people, but it's honestly like one of the loneliest jobs, because you are surrounded by sometimes thousands of people, but you're up there all alone. And like you said, you don't really have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
You're just there. You know what I mean? Like it's a really, I talked to my wife about it, and it's like, because I'll come home and I'll talk her face off. She's like, you were just out.
Aren't
like,
you exhausted?
Didn't you like talk to somebody? It's like, I didn't get to talk to anybody really at the end. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's an interesting one for sure.
Another concept you talked about was perfection versus consistency. So how do you when you're finishing a gig, a job, whatever, and you're thinking about it, and maybe it didn't go well. Like obviously we all have certain situations where like you're like, shit, that I fucked up on this or whatever. How do you kind of handle that? Like, so dealing with the fact that not every time you get out there you're going to be perfect. So maybe if you feel like maybe I failed on that one, how do you kind of handle that and overcome it?
Myself personally, I take it pretty hard. A lot of the time I will beat myself up over the stupidest little things that probably nobody ever realized. But I think just having a good support system, like my wife, like I said, I'll talk her ear off when I get home. She'll just be like, it wasn't a big deal, but nobody knows, right? You know what I mean? Like, just don't worry about it, right? You know? So, and then what I'll usually do is the next morning after I've given myself a time to breathe is I will go through like my song list history and like look at maybe where I could have done something different, you know, or like take that time in the night where I started to kind of panic and be like, what could I have done better, and try to think back. But yeah, I do overthink about it a lot, but I usually get past it pretty quickly. Now, when I was younger, sometimes I would just dwell on things for weeks and weeks. But I think that also in some ways can make you better at your job.
Yeah, you have to give a shit about those things, but that's the hard thing, like you said, is caring about it but not dwelling on it, right? Not living in that kind of space. Because I know, looking at like when we're doing festivals, kind of my job, or at least I feel my job, is to make sure that it's always better than the last one, right? And so what I find myself sometimes doing is I'm walking around looking for mistakes. And then I become like Debbie Downer, because it's like all I'm pointing out is, meanwhile, there's 1,000 things going right, and I'll focus on the one thing that I don't think is going right. But I think that's kind of human nature when you give a shit about what you do.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're not stressed out before a gig and you don't care about those little things sometimes, maybe you shouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of poker when I was younger, and you know the biggest thing is people don't remember their big wins a lot of times, like their cards, but they always remember their bad beats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like that's the opposite when my dad goes to the casino, or when I hear someone in the VLT, because like, they always talk about their wins. I'm like, I guarantee you have lost way more than you've won, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, but yeah, absolutely.
So what were you, so let's talk about poker for a second. Were you like, did you take it seriously, or was it
I took it pretty seriously for a bit. I played a lot of online poker. And then there was this whole thing where one of the bigger poker sites, they wouldn't allow Americans to play with Canadians anymore, so they had to be specifically within America, and that got rid of a lot of the easy money, to say the least. So online poker now is just, it's all AI, and it's
not something you do anymore, or
no,
just for
fun?
I mean,
just for fun.
Yeah. And have you made more money than you've lost? Be honest with me.
I probably lost a little bit more than I've made. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so thinking about kind of, you know, so how long has it been since you started like your as DJ Goodbar?
As DJ Goodbar, I mean, it's probably 13, maybe 15 years now. 15 years.
So what are the biggest challenges? Like, are the challenges now the same as they were 13 years ago, or have those constantly changed?
They constantly change. Like back then, my challenge was getting gigs.
Yeah.
Now my challenge is keeping them.
Okay.
You know, and there's, like I said, everyone's a DJ now, right? And there's so many younger kids coming out and nipping at all of our heels and stuff like that. And we have a really good community here, and we're by no means gatekeepers, but we definitely like want these new kids in the scene, but we don't want them trying to like undercut everybody,
right?
And you know,
but
and then also, I mean, you know as well, like we're losing lots of venues here, right? So I've lost 2 of my residencies just to places going under, right? So it's hard to kind of scramble and pick up after, you know, like you get told like a month before, because you know, like I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a contractor, right? Like I have to pay for everything for myself, right? So those are my biggest challenges, and I don't see it getting any easier, especially now with like AI and all that kind of stuff. And that's where my experience, I hope, keeps me, you know, kind of top of the list for people, because like I said, like reading a room and all this experience is very important. You know, you don't want to just toss on like an AI Spotify list or something like that, right?
Well, and that's the problem is, you know, people, you know, just talking about AI, people think that it's the solution to everything. And like, certainly like there's areas where AI is probably going to be helpful. I feel like the when it comes to human interaction, you can feel when there's an AI presence to it, you know? And I think, to your point, reading the room, giving a shit, that's a variable that I feel like AI is going to struggle with. But do people like, and then the question would be then, sometimes people, they don't see the value in that. So they're like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to use AI,
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, especially like when you come to like business owners and managers and stuff like that don't understand that. And it's not all of them. Like a lot of them understand how important that can be to a spot, but a lot of them it's just bottom line, right? For sure. But the AI thing, like I use AI to help me, but like I'm never going to use it to like do my job. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is I think that we need to find a way to use it to help us, because if we don't, like, I mean, I'm not going to be left behind and just be like, oh, AI, like, but like it can be useful, but like I'm not going to be making my like flyers with AI and stuff like that. Right. You know what I mean? But like, it's an interesting time that we live in right now, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But I think, like you said, face to face interaction, and there's emotion, there's energy, there's things that a computer can't do. Right?
No. Yeah. 100%. You talked about the DJ community. So what is that? Because an outsider like me, I don't necessarily think of there being a DJ community. So maybe describe like whether that's in Calgary or the greater DJ community. What is that kind of feel like to be a part of?
Well, for me, I mean, so when I started DJing, I worked at a place called Beat Drop. Okay. So I was a volunteer that was a TA for a guy named Mark Cruz and DJ Seasick. So they were some of my mentors that I did a lot of stuff with when I was younger. And they kind of showed me the community and what it is all about. Yeah. And the biggest thing is like it's kind of an unspoken thing, but like we're just kind of a big group of guys and girls that just help each other out. Like if I got a gig that I can't fill, that I know somebody would be really good at, I'm gonna give so and so a call and be like, right, hey, do you want to take this gig? Like I'm not gonna take anything off the top. Like no, there's no booking fee. Like whatever. We just try to like make sure that everyone's got a good DJ. And there's good DJs around the city. We're all getting work. The bars are getting, quality DJs and stuff like that. So it's the community. It's interesting. It's different. There's different parts of the community. Different DJs. But I think at the end of the day, we're all very supportive of each other. Yeah. And I feel like there's not as much like cutthroatness here in the city, just because we're all so close.
So compare it. I don't know if it can be compared to, but I think of the beer community, and the beer community quite well, obviously. Especially when craft beer first kind of emerged, I'll say. So this community is very collaborative. Obviously, over time, it's like anything; it does get more competitive, but there's an underlying collaboration, and I think it is. If you care about what you're doing and you're passionate about it, people will help you. And I think like that's in the beer industry the way it is. Is that kind of similar? Like where, once people get to know you and they understand, okay, this guy gives a shit about what he's doing, does that make it easier to collaborate? Like, I guess meaning, do the young people coming up, do they got to kind of show that passion and that give a shit?
I'd say, yeah, for sure. I definitely know that I did when I was younger. Yeah. Yeah, it takes some work for sure to prove to some of these guys that you're worth, right? Yeah. And then like, when you get that first phone call being like, hey man, I got this super cool gig that I can't make it to. It's like, oh, well, thank you so much, man. Yeah, totally. Like I'd love to. Totally. And then you go and you got to make sure you do a really good job, right? Because like, now it's under somebody else's name, and like I've gotten some opportunities from some pretty big guys in the city, right? And when you walk into that room, those are the ones that I get really nervous about, right? And those are the ones I'll kind of eat myself up about during and after, and then I'll get a phone call from them and be like, hey, they said you did a really good job. And like, there's no better feeling than that, right? So, and then, and it's just so nice to like give that to somebody else too. And I'm at a point now where I start double booking things, and like I've got some of the younger guys coming up now that I'm like, hey man, would you like to take this gig? I think you'd be really good at this. And they're like, oh man, I'm so nervous. I'd be like, hey man, I'll give you some songs, I'll give you some direction, and just go kill it. And it's like putting myself on the other side makes me realize that I really shouldn't have cared so much when I was younger. But also, like I said, if you don't care, you're not doing it right sometimes, right? So
when I think that and this is, I think, in every industry, that going back to maybe the technology of things and social media too, is people can have, you can create, like, right off the bat, you want to become a DJ or anything, you want to start a brewery or restaurant, you can come up with like a pretty tight brand and look. And so the problem that I see a lot of times is people have, they just start out and they think, well, I should be here, I should be doing this. And the sense that you have to earn your stripes kind of thing, I feel like is kind of lost a little bit right now. Do you agree with that? Or
I
not?
100% agree with that for sure. I put in a lot of work. I volunteered a lot. I played a lot of gigs for drink tickets.
Yeah.
I got told by managers, if you don't bring at least 15 people, like, we're not booking you again. Like,
Right.
when I was young, like, it was really hard to get in the door, right? So, like, earning your stripes is something that I had to do. But nowadays, like I said, everyone can just pick up a controller and hop on YouTube, tell ChatGPT to give them the perfect playlist for a club at whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of like, it's not so much like a dying art form. It's just like, it's just so much more accessible. Like, when I started DJing, there was no computer softwares and stuff like that. I had to physically go buy my music.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I was 16 years old when I got my first set of turntables, and I had to kind of stop because records were like $20. My allowance was like $20 a week. It's like, do I buy a record or do I buy a bag of weed? You know what I mean? Like, but like, but and then
go to Recordland, try to find a cheap
exactly,
record,
and then
you
like
could
a little,
probably
like,
find a bag of weed.
exactly. But and then Serato came around, and then DJing got a lot more accessible, and now we got like streaming platforms that you can do just within your DJ software, and like there's AI things that'll tell you like, this will work perfectly with your next song,
right?
And it's like, once again, if you can't read a room, I mean, this AI can't see what's going on in front of you, right?
100%.
So,
and that's the biggest thing. We've all been in those rooms where it's just like, hey, just put the chicken dance on, for the love of God.
yeah.
So, okay, we talked about this, but we met through the Calgary Beer Festival.
Yeah.
Like, you through, you are with the Cold Garden clan. Like, that, I mean, the first time I sat down and talked to Dan and Blake about what they wanted for their footprint, it was just kind of this, like, ridiculous back and forth, because I can tell you, if someone comes to the festival, they'll see and they'll just assume that, oh, you must let these guys do whatever they want. That is the most restrained, like, that is me saying no to about 100 things. You know what I mean?
know.
Yeah. So, and every year they try to sneak something else in, but I think what they've done a great job of is, like, when you go to a beer festival, Calgary, Edmonton, and you see the Cold Garden footprint, you get a really good sense of what Cold Garden is all about. Like, when you kind of see their space there, and then you walk into Cold Garden for the first time, you're like, okay, these two things match, right? For you, what was it about Cold Garden where you guys connected? Like, what was it that you guys connected on? And like, because obviously there's a great relationship there, and you guys have a similar energy. So what is that?
Well, I mean, like I said before, like, we all had like mutual friends before they even opened the brewery, and like we knew each other beforehand.
Yeah.
Which just kind of shows, we kind of just did the same kind of things.
Yeah.
Go to Shambhala and stuff like that. We'd see each other all the time at music festivals.
Nice.
One of my best friends was like best friends with them. So like we just kind of got the same kind of vibe, right? And then the whole entire relation, like, just the weird coincidence that my DJ name came from there.
I love that.
Like, that kind of stuff. And then when they asked me to do the first one, I was really surprised. They're like, hey, I think we kind of want to maybe have a DJ at our booth. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, man, that sounds like fun. Like, I was really nervous about it because it was a big opportunity. And then when I saw, like I said, I mean, it was even the first year, like, how big their space was. It was just a year they had the picnic tables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember one of them coming up to me, and they were like, yo, let's get it going in here. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yo, play some DMX. And I'm like, okay, but there's no turning back from this. And then all of a sudden there's half the festival on all the tables and 100 people surrounding the booth and security guards around me and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think we just kind of got that kind of same just party love for each other, community atmosphere. Like, we're just, it's all love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and that's where, there's an authenticity to that, right? That's not and I've talked to Blake about this before, where, people see that and they're like, oh, like, let's kind of copy that. Like, it's not it's not a marketing gimmick. It's just kind of like there's just a real lifestyle authenticity to it.
And that's the thing is that like before these guys even did that thing, like if you would have seen their camps at Shambhala and shit that, like I mean these guys have always been those people.
Yeah.
They've always done it bigger than anybody else, better than anybody else, funner than anybody else. Like the setup and the strike is insane.
Oh yeah.
Like they've got it down now, but like the first few years, like those guys put in so much extra little
I avoid
work.
the whole area because I'm like they're gonna have me rolling up carpet if I keep.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like they'll get anybody to come help. They're like, you guys are still here, and they're like, yeah, you want to grab some stuff and put it in the bag.
Don't make direct eye contact. Just keep walking.
And the amount of volunteers they have that will so awesomely just come down and help out with the beer fest is so sweet too. And that's the other thing too is like some of these volunteers that volunteer for these guys have been doing it for 10 12 years, right? And like I don't ever plan on stopping, you know. And now we've got Hendo next door, and like so like this Calgary one I was doing sound for Hendo and Cold Garden, so like that's cool too to build this relationship between both of them as well. So it's
funny because well, I don't know how many years ago now, but when Hendo started doing Shaft and wanted to do the beer festival in Banff, and I was trying to find out where I'm looking at the floor plan going, okay, where would they fit? And then I'm like, okay, I'll put them with Cold Garden because totally different products, but totally the same energy. And I'm like, these guys will either love each other or there'll be a fight in the back and we'll never be allowed in Banff again. And luckily they love each other.
Well, I think the first time. Was it the first time that he came was in Banff?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I feel like there was a Calgary one that he was in a tiny little booth right beside.
Oh, yeah. It could be. The first kind of where there was like, okay, let's like really try to combine these two, I think was Banff. But
no, because I remember meeting him and I was like, this guy's pretty interesting.
He's very interesting.
Oh, I love Hendo. Yeah.
He's a character.
We do quite a bit of work together now as well. So.
Yeah, I'm drawn to characters, and he is one. I still remember. I'm actually doing a podcast with him right away, but I remember like vividly the first time I met him because he was just like this ball of energy, and I'm just like, holy shit, okay,
he runs on coffee.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, back then he ran on probably, cocktails and beer, and he's always been in that kind of spirit world since I've known him. So he's running on something at all times. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about Calgary and Edmonton. I'm curious though because you've also done Banff with us for the last a long time.
Yep.
And then Jasper.
Oh, I miss Jasper.
So each one is very different. So when you think about the mindset that you had to bring, so you first had Calgary.
Yeah. And
then was Edmonton the next one that you did, or which one was the next one that you did?
Oh, we did Calgary for a long time, and then Edmonton would have been. I think I did Jasper before.
Jasper.
Yeah.
So because those two are like diabolically opposed.
Oh yeah, they're so much different.
So what was your reaction when you did the Jasper one? Because that one we did at the Fairmont there.
Yeah.
And how, again, going back to reading the room and changing, what tweaks did you need to do to be like, okay, I need to be Jasper approved on this?
I kind of went in with the mindset that it was going to be more of an older, wealthier crowd.
Okay.
Just because of where we were and stuff like that. And then once again, we're north, so majority Edmonton, right? So I kind of treated it more of a mature kind of, to tell you the truth, kind of treated it a little bit kind of like a wedding for the little bit at the beginning, just like some more mature, like popular music that people wanted to hear, and then kind of turned it more into a party with what was left over. But the first year was and then the second year at Jasper was COVID.
Yeah.
And I got yelled at.
Yeah,
not by you. Not by you.
No, by the security guard.
By the security
who was trying to tell you to shut down. And that's when you said, I only stop when Mark tells me to stop. And I'm just like, I don't know where he got that. I literally did not tell him that.
I got on the mic and I said, everyone has to stay at your tables or we got to turn off the music.
Yeah.
So you guys can dance at your tables.
Yeah.
We've been told you can dance at your tables. But they found the loophole where if they were waiting for a drink in line, that was like a dance floor. And I didn't like this loophole. And I didn't want to stop playing music, and I didn't know what to do. And then the manager was like, I think we got to figure this out. So I just turned off the music and gave everyone a stern talk. That was a very weird year.
It was weird coming out of COVID. Like we really pushed the envelope because even that year in Banff, we did it downtown. There was just like we were forcing the government, because as far as we were concerned, okay, we've all had our shots as per the agreement. You said the doors were open once everyone got their shot, so we were kind of like, okay, we've jumped through all the hoops, like let's go. But definitely some weirdness, like getting back into life.
Banff, I think, was the first one I worked for just you guys.
Okay, yeah,
because Kondrat didn't come to the Banff one during COVID, because you guys did that 2 weekends in a row on Bear Street, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was a scene.
PTSD when I walked down
every
Bear
time
Street.
I see that parking lot, I'm like, oh. but yeah, and then if you want to talk about the different mentality there, when I walk into Banff, I do a lot of work in Banff. It's a mountain town.
Yeah.
We're raging.
Yeah.
That's just my mentality. We're going in. We're going balls to the wall. You know what I mean? But like Calgary, I think Edmonton's probably my favorite, or Banff is probably my favorite one. Edmonton's probably like the one that is like usually the kind of the slowest and like the hardest one for me to like figure out the crowd, but it's just because I'm not from Edmonton.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was laughing. I think it was in Banff last year. I saw you at the hotel in the morning, and you were complaining because there might have been a hockey tournament or something like that in town with kids.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I was up all night because these kids were making noises, and I couldn't help but feel like the irony of like you getting mad at someone for being noisy. I'm like, you're literally the cause of so many noise violations. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but when I'm done getting paid, I go home and I go to bed. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of the time,
These kids don't give a shit. They're playing
ball on their knees in the hallway against my door. I'm like, guys. I gotta do another 10-hour DJ gig tomorrow. Yeah. Can we go to bed, please?
Yeah. They don't care. No, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
One of the parents actually started getting in a fight with me. That was the problem.
What's that?
One of the parents got in a fight with me. They were drinking in the lobby, like they were open, just like doing shots.
Yeah, the parents are way worse than the kids in those situations.
And then like the kids are like screaming. I'm like, hey, guys, just chill. And the dad's like, you can't tell my kid what to do. And I'm like, I'm going to bed, guys.
That's awesome. So outside of DJing, what do you do? I know you have a dog, correct? You're married.
Yeah.
So what's life outside of DJing for you?
Me and my wife have been together for 21 years now. I used to work in oil and gas before I got laid off when I was a kid. That was kind of like my first like big boy job. Yeah. I used to work for a survey company in oil and gas. I used to be an equipment and a safety manager. Yeah. That went well for a while, and then things kind of fell apart. And during that time, I was just starting to DJ, and I was TAing at the DJ school I talked about. Okay. So I just decided to kind of take a run with it. Yeah. So I started kind of just picking up gigs, and then I got a few residencies at a couple restaurants that were paying me pretty much about the same to work like 2 nights a week as I was getting paid at my oil and gas. So I was like, maybe I can do this. Yeah. So I like took a big breath and I was like, I'm going to try this. Yeah. Everything was going good, starting to get, more and more gigs and working more and more. And then COVID hit, right? Yeah. That sucked. Yeah. So I got a job at Long and McQuaid, with perfect fit, right? Music store. Worked there for, a year or two until COVID kind of came up. And the second COVID went away, I got just slammed. I was DJing like 6, sometimes 7 nights a week. Yeah. And then I was working 40 hours a week at Long McQuaid. But I was so scared that COVID was going to come back or I was going to lose one or the other that I just refused to stop. Right. So I was like literally like would work 8 hours, go home, take a nap, eat, go to work, come home at like 2 a.m., go to bed, do it all over again. Yeah. And I did that for 2 years and I burnt myself out. Yeah, like, no kidding. Really, 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 really bad. And it like affected my health and my mental health and my physical health and so many things. So I left Long and McQuaid, which was really hard for me, but it was fine. It was a good time for them too. Like there was a lot of changes going on. So there was no bad blood. You know what I mean? So like I'm always welcome back if I want to go back, which was something really nice to see. But then and then now I'm just kind of trying to do this full time. I've like I said, I've lost a few residencies just because of things closing down the city. So I've kind of taken like a month or two off and just been kind of like reevaluating, focusing, trying to like get my mojo back, trying to like revive myself back into it. So I've been focusing a lot more on like weddings and corporate stuff like that. Yeah. They pay well. Yeah. And they're fun. Everyone's there to have a good time. The job's half done for you. And so things are a little tough right now for sure in the city for everybody that's an artist or just in the industry in general. So
What does, like you said, there's places closing down, which like live. I feel like live music venues and just music venues in general are just always, that's always seems to be the storyline. Is there any that are like, I guess, are there any new ones coming up? Like, is there any, like, as they shut down, because like restaurants, for example, restaurants are always shutting down, but new ones are popping up. Is there any music venues that are coming?
I mean, I'd assume that a lot of these spots that are closing are gonna probably rebrand. I'm assuming that like the owners still own. Okay. I'm not entirely sure about a few of them, but I know that there are a couple guys in the city that like they'll rebrand like every 2 years. They'll just be like, oh, this new restaurant, and then they'll just rebrand it. In my world of kind of the open format DJing, like I mean, I like I said, I assume like Home and Away will probably open up into something else. I assume that Radio Block still owns that, but
right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I hope that there's more live music venues and more just venues in general that keep on opening, or like at least the ones that are here are being supported and saved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So you've talked about, like we talked about earlier, about the concept of evolving. But when you, like you said, like you've kind of taken a minute to kind of like evaluate and stuff like that, which I think is important, is part of the process, right? Is to always kind of be like, okay, what's been working? What do I need to change? Have you always done that? Like kind of looked at like, okay, how can what needs to change right now? What needs to evolve? Like, do you always assess that, or is that kind of just when you're forced to?
I've never really done it till about this time in my life.
Okay.
Things slowed down a little bit, and I hit some health problems. Like I said, I just overworked myself.
Yeah.
A lot of mental problems, some pretty bad health problems, in and out of the hospital a little bit. So I had to kind of really like just take a step back,
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is needed for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
Because, like once you start overworking yourself sometimes, and sometimes you fall into a rut.
Yeah.
And especially with like a job like this, you can't fall into a rut. You know what I mean? You can't show up and do the same thing every day. If you start doing that, you're not going to have a job, right?
Yeah.
So I had to just take a step back and be like, hey, like, let's just take a minute, and figure out where to go from here, and like how I want to move forward. I want to be happy doing this job too, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't want to just burn myself out. But
totally.
Like I'm getting older for sure. So, it's nice to kind of start getting these relationships that I've had through all these years and getting some more like mature gigs, I guess I'll call them, like, these bigger corporate events and stuff like that, and like these weddings and stuff like that. Like, I think that might be where I'll end up in 5-10 years, like, and it's weird to think about being a DJ for the rest of my life too. It's like, what do I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
What else can I really do? I mean, I really don't have much of I've got some skills, I've got some experience, but like, I'd have to start from scratch if I wanted to kind of do something else, probably, right? So I got to think long term as well too, right? So I don't want to burn myself out just being a club DJ either too. But but
well, and that's the thing, right? Is like, it's nice to have these moments of reflection, because without them, you can just be busy and your head's down and you're not thinking about this shit. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh wow, I need to take care of my health. I need to, I need to figure out what does DJ Goodbar look like in 5 years, kind of thing. It's healthy to ask those questions. You asked me, let me find this. What I think with, as far as the podcasting goes, like with guests that have had like meaningful.
Exactly. And as I was reflecting on myself, that was a good time to have this podcast, because that was a question that I had for you to maybe help me.
Well, so for me, what's really interesting is you hit a lot of the things that I think are like just so important, right? Like the showing up, sometimes even when you don't want to. Like, I'm lucky because I have a team, and so if I'm, not 100%, I got guys like Trevor that can jump in, and so for you, like that whole mentality of just showing up, curiosity. I feel like you're always just. You're always looking at stuff, like you said, even when you're traveling and stuff. It's like, hey, how does this kind of fit into what I'm doing? Goals, habits. What do you do like for habits? Do you have like certain like you mentioned health concerns? Do you have anything that you do, whether it's on a daily basis, a weekly basis, to just kind of check in with yourself and make sure you're doing okay?
I'm trying more and more. Yeah. Gonna start, like, I think therapy is probably one of the next steps, you know, like I'm getting older, right? But like, no, I don't have many things. And I think that's the problem is I gotta start checking in on myself and not just being so focused on what's in front of me, like you said, because if you don't take a time for yourself, like it's gonna just it's gonna affect everything else. But
Totally.
I don't really have too many, like, I mean, I've got my vices, you know, like I like a cold beer, you know, like a nice joint after dinner, you know what I mean, like that. But other than that, like I'm just trying to take care of my health right now for the biggest part, and you spend more time, you know, with the wife and the dog and stuff. So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really grateful that you took the time to kind of share your story. It's been such a blast getting to work with you. I think, you know, ever since you've come on and been a part of our festivals, definitely the vibe has changed for the better. I just, you know, and where I'm lucky is I get to meet so many, you know, amazing people, and yourself included. So keep doing what you're doing. Take care of yourself first, though. If there's anything we can ever do to help you, it's just, like I said, it's been awesome having you as part of kind of the overall family. So thanks for being there.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Feelings mutual, man.
Thanks. Take care.
Love you guys.
Thanks so much for listening to the Create Podcast. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next Wednesday.